Good morning, boys. What is up? Here's how I made $10,000 trading the Nasdaq. Made around $9,000 on Lucid and $1,000 on Tradeify. You can see right here. I'm gonna go over all the trades I took to make those $10,000. Right. Warning in advance: the Alpha Futures promo code is no longer valid for 25% off. I'm just too lazy to change that banner. It's probably 10 to 15% off right now. Still the best firm in the fucking industry. If you try to use them, if you want to use them, you guys already know they have the best rules, literally unmatched rules. But I'm going to go over my trade, why I was bullish the entire day, including Asia session. I did take a long in Asia session, right? By the time we're opening, price has done a couple things. We have filled equilibrium of this range, right? If you take the high, top and bottom. Is it this? Yeah. If you take top and the bottom of that range, price wanted to come down to fill equilibrium, which was also aligned with a 4-hour FVG. Once we tap this 4-hour FVG, we also end up respecting this one. Right? We're respecting two 4-hour gaps and equilibrium of the range. We have a clear unfilled hourly gap resting above us. I see by the time market is opening at 6 p.m. Yes, I traded Asia again. I love Asia. At least the way it's been moving, like this week, is pretty clean. Right? Where are we at right now? Here. All right. I see we are trading inside a bullish 5-minute. Respect it. I see no reason for price to push lower either. I am extremely bullish. I think this is the last move to the downside before we go and at least sweep this unfilled hourly gap. Go long. The second market opens in that side, inside that 5-minute. Stops below here. TP up here. I entered this trade with 2 contracts. Obviously, this prop firm does have a 20% consistency rule. Lucid. So obviously I entered like here and I couldn't even take 50 points. It took more like 40 because I made $1,800, which I believe with 2 contracts is like 40 points. So that was my actual trade. My draw, however, was here, right? This was my actual trade, of course, right? Something like that. Literally just based off the fact that my draw on liquidity is higher and it doesn't make any sense for price to push lower. Trading is that simple. Does it make sense for price to push in the opposite direction? And is my draw liquidity correct? Right? Obviously, price wants to fill this unfilled hourly, especially since we are respecting 2 bullish 4 hours and EQ of the range, as well as this 4-hour breaker block right here. Right? What do we call it when we break above a previous bearish order block? Break above it right here. Break above the swing high. Breaker block. Right? We also respect a gap. On the 4-hour time frame, I'm extremely bullish. Nothing is bearish for me. Obviously, the next draw liquidity is this high and this high. So I just enter long. Bullish 15-minute candle closure. Respect a 5-minute bullish gap. We didn't even invest the 5-minute yet. I didn't care for that. I figured there's no reason to respect that 5-minute if my trade idea is correct. Right? So obviously played out correctly. Now we'll go over into today because who the fuck cares about Asia session, right? I'm going to go into today, what I personally saw. Let me clear everything, right? This is how I see the market, fresh in the morning, right? What do I see? Obviously, we respected these 4-hour gaps. We respected this 4-hour breaker. Price is clearly bullish on the 4-hour. We obviously want to take out this high. Oh, but every day there's been an SMT at previous day high. Is there an SMT there today? No. Well, yes, with our favor because we trade Nasdaq. So there's no bearish SMT with ES put in place at the moment of market open, correct? What else do I see? Overnight, we pushed up, obviously made a CISD right here, swept these lows, last move to the downside, break above the last move to the downside, tap into it right here at 3 a.m. You can see we tap into it, push higher, right? Then what do? Create an order block. Tap into it, push higher. Then what do? We create this 15-minute bullish gap. I want price to tap into this gap and push higher. Obviously, price had other plans. Now, I thought the fucking government was closed. I'm not sure if this was actually 8:30 news or if this was just a crazy wick we had. However, the way price moved, I consider this a data low. Maybe it actually wasn't a data low, but the way it moved at 8:30, I figured it was a data low, just from market experience. And we did end up making an S&T at that low. However, I actually went long pre-market. We tap into this bullish 15-minute and this bullish 15-minute CISD as well. Bearish 5-minute gap right here. We inverse it. I go long. Stops right below. That looks like a $350 stop loss. To make $600 per account. Obviously that loss, and then I lost around $350 per account. Now, next trade, I believe was, here. Even though we inverse the 15-minute, I'm still bullish just because we have an SMT at the data low at 8:30. And if we get a bullish reaction to the upside, like a CISD, I'm willing to enter long. We get this. TP at this high. At this point in time, I'm up like $100 trading. And I saw another setup, so I took another setup. Because the way Tradeify works is, realistically, you want to hit $500 to $600 days. Because they have a 20% consistency rule and you need $3,000 to take a payout. So I got a little greedy and I took this trade, played out, right? That was a good trade. At this point in time, I'm up like $100 because today was a roller coaster, right? Next thing I know, I see a 5-minute CISD. This is a great trade, right? We have a SMT. We are respecting an hourly order block. We are clearly bullish on the higher time frame. And now we inverse this bearish 5-minute and close above this bearish 5-minute order block. So I'm like, all right, we are extremely bullish at this point in time. I am going to enter long. Right here. We made the CISD. Enter in long targeting this high. Instantly stopped out. Lost around, I think it was like 400 on this trade. I think I was down like 300. Yeah, I was down $330 after this trade, right? So the trades I took today, I would take, again, 10 out of 10 times. 5-minute inversion to the upside. Right? Mind you, my draw on liquidity is always the same. I am still aiming for, I believe it's previous day high. My draw on liquidity has always been previous day high, coming out of this 15-minute gap. That is my trade idea, and I know it is correct. I'm confident in it, right? First trade, loss. Second trade, win. I actually took this one to the internal just because I was down for the day. I didn't want to get greedy and played out, right? Third trade, loss. Now, do I usually take 4 trades in a day? No, but considering that I am down 1R, 3 trades in, I will gladly take another trade. I'm not down what I consider to be my losing day. When I'm down 2R is when I actually lock myself out and call it quits for the day, right? If I'm essentially break even, I have no reason to not trade if I see a good setup, right? Now, what do I see coming out of this gap? SMT at this low, right? We actually end up sweeping that low. And then we get hold up. We flip on the 3-minute. We flip on the 2-minute. I entered right here. We made a CISD. Stops below that. TP up here. Take profit got hit for around 400 or like a little more. I think I entered here. For around $500. So I'm up like 150 on the day per account. You guys saw it. Let me see if I still have it right here. Yep. 164. Not bad at all. Obviously, very small winning day, but it is enough to match the consistency rule. So if I get 2 more $600 winning days, I get a $10,000 payout, which is all I want from this firm, right? SMT at what I believe was data lows. Trading inside a 1-hour order block, we reswept this low, got a 1-minute CISD to the upside targeting this high. Now, is this good price action? No. Look at price since market open. We just chopped in a range. Look at the 5-minute time frame. This is fucking awful. This is fucking awful, bro. I'm honestly grateful I got a win in this. I am lucky and grateful that I got a win in this chop shit of PA. Did I get stopped in the chop? Yeah, I got stopped in the chop 1 and 2 times. Do I believe this move to the downside was validated? No. There was a 3-minute bullish gap. There was a 5-minute bullish CISD. There was clear buy side above us, and there's still unfilled gaps resting above us as well. Right? There's no reason for price to push any lower, in my opinion. I think ES is way lower than Nasdaq today. ES is straight up bearish, right? We didn't make a 1 hour CISD, but we respected a 15-minute order block, and now we're respecting this 15-minute CISD. Not looking too good. But yeah, if we look on the 4 hour time frame, obviously our narrative is bullish. Why are we bullish on the 4 hour? What about this is bearish? You guys know I trade continuation. Trading continuation, all that means in the simplest terms possible is I trade where the higher time frame is going. Where is the higher time frame going? Up. Literally that simple. What is this? If you literally get your tool and match price, I just match price, right? I literally just match what price did, right? Or you want to make this a little deeper, make it a little deeper, like that, right? Take this out of the chart. What is this? Uptrend. A 3-year-old can tell you this is a fucking uptrend, right? Clearly. We are respecting a 4 hour gap, 4 hour gap, 4 hour CISD. Now we are respecting a 1 hour order block. At the time, a 15-minute gap, but I didn't end up carrying because we did have a 15-minute rejection block and SMT at the 830 low. Now we are probably heading towards this 4 hour unfilled gap, which is also aligned with, I don't even know if this is data low, but it is a, 70-point candle? It is a 60-point candle pre-market. I'm considering that some sort of data or some sort of manipulation candle that you could target, right? So if this low is aligned with a 4 hour gap, that's not a bad draw on liquidity at all. But what I saw was an SMT at a low and a clear CISD to the upside. No reason for price to push lower and a clear draw on liquidity. When you are entering a trade, you should have a checklist. Am I accepting the risk I put on the table? That does not mean, if I win this trade, I make this much money. That means if that trade were to hit your stop loss, would you be content with the money you lost, right? I'm risking like $300 to $400 per account on this trade, on these accounts, and I'm happy with that risk because that is not a lot of risk relative to my actual drawdown, right? My drawdown is like $2,500, $2,000, so I still have like 6 trades before I obviously lose the account, and I'm up like $2,000, so regardless, it doesn't matter. But when you're entering a trade, you should have a checklist. Am I content with the money I'm risking? Meaning, if I lose this trade, am I going to be mad at myself? Is there any reason for price to move in the opposite direction? Meaning, if you're in longs, is there any reason for price to trade lower? If you're looking for shorts, is there any reason for price to trade higher? And why should price go to your draw liquidity? Is it a valid draw liquidity? Is it an unmitigated gap? Is it a higher low in the market? Is it a session higher low in the market? Is it a equilibrium or some sort of fib point? I don't trade fibs, but the way I trade, the market moves for one of 3 reasons, right? The market is going to move to, is my text white? Why the fuck is my text white? Screenshot this if you want. Take out buy side. Wait, that's sell side, meaning session, previous day high, previous day low, previous week high, previous week low, literally anything else. Any highs and lows in the market that are somewhat prominent, right? 2, am I even on this shit? How the fuck do I do this? 2, fill EQ of a range. Meaning, I'll go over that now. Hold up. Or 3, fill an imbalance, which goes hand in hand with EQ because EQ is an imbalance, but not the kind of imbalance we're talking about. Right? So price is either going to move to fill an imbalance or to take out buy side or sell side, right? Session highs, previous week high, previous day low, previous week high, previous week low, right? Fill EQ of a range. What do I mean by holy chop? What do I mean by fill EQ of a range? Peep yesterday. Let me delete everything from today. This peep yesterday. What is the current high and low of this range? You have this low and you have this high. So you're going to mark the high to low of the range. Price is usually going to want to trade into it, especially if there's some sort of imbalance in this area of liquidity. What imbalance is in this area? Unfilled 4-hour gap. Unfilled 4-hour gap. Right? So you have two unfilled 4-hour gaps in equilibrium perfectly in the middle of both. Right? Obviously, price is going to want to retrace into that. If you have this range right here, being this high and this high, potentially price might want to trade into EQ of the range. I don't know if it's going to trade into this equilibrium just because this is such a like juicy ass wick. But the way I usually see price action is price tends to move a lot to fill imbalances, right? Meaning imbalances like this. Price is usually, more often than not, going to want to trade into it before pushing higher. Price takes out internal liquidity before taking out external, and external before taking out internal. What does that mean? Price is going to go from internal liquidity to external. Internal liquidity is a draw on liquidity, much like a hourly gap, right? Or equilibrium. And EQ and FEGs are internal liquidity because it is inside a range. External, being the high of the range, is obviously going to break the range high or low. So that is external. The way price moves is external or internal to external and external back to internal. Meaning, we swept, in this case scenario, we swept this buy side. We go to internal to fill these gaps, right? We filled the EQ and the 2-hourly gap and the 2 4-hour gaps. And then what do? External, we resweep this high. And then what are we going to do now? Internal, fill this imbalance, and then external, resweep that high. That is how price moves, right? What do we see here? Sweep this high, right? So you have sweep of external liquidity, push into internal, external, internal, external, and then Trump opened his mouth. This is not price action. Anyone that caught this short and said, oh my God, there was clearly an hour rejection block and we had an SMT at the high, Trump fucking tweeted, like borderline threatening a fucking war, a tariff war with fucking China. So don't sit here and tell me this happened because of an SMT at a high when we borderline got into a tariff war with China. That is not how price action works. You can explain price action to a pretty high standard with ICT concepts, yes, but the market does not actually move 24/7 because of ICT. I make fucking $40,000 a month trading ICT, and I'm not sitting here telling you the market moved because of a rejection block. Like, no, I caught a trade today because of a rejection block because of an SMT. But if Trump opens his mouth, there's nothing ICT can fucking do about it, okay? So I hope you guys have a great day. Any questions? If you guys are interested in getting mentored by me one-on-one, hold yourself accountable for all your fucking trades. Learn everything you need to know from me. I'll be there. Link is in the description for you guys to sign up for that. Besides that, you guys in the routine. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Warning for next week, I might get my wisdom teeth removed soon. So I don't know how the fuck I'm going to film those trade recaps. But I'll see you boys soon and we'll worry about that later. All right, peace out.